follow-up after surgery, and what to do when you have a problem. This happens more often than we or you may think. So you cover everything from pre-op screening to IOL selection and to post-op control, and even if there's a problem, trying to get a solution for it. Probably your strongest sales argument. I do not get tired to teach you about this or to remind you about that topic. The return on investment. I told you this little story from Professor Auffahrt. He asked me, what is a reimbursement code for ocular surface diseases? When you go into the selling process, you have to know what the insurance companies pay. This is what you need to know. Of course, it is not the same for every insurance company, but at least you need to have an idea. Or what is common to charge in your country. And then you can make a calculation together with your customers. So now we are going out of the pure knowledge of a device and the diagnostic capabilities. Now we really go into the sales thing. Someone puts money on the table. The only important thing is for the investor, when do I get my money back? This is what matters, because the physicians are often not the decision maker. The decision maker is the purchasing department or the owner of the hospital. So you have to talk to both of them, right? And your arguments are not the same. And your sales strategy is not the same. So you have to be prepared with whom you are talking. I make this dummy example. By the way, if somebody wants to have this Excel chart, this calculation chart, I can share it, I can give it to Trisha, and she puts it on the e-learning platform, if there is an interest. It starts with the value, not the costs, the value of a square meter in the hospital, in your clinic, in that area, in that city. This is different depending on where you are. In Singapore, it is much more higher than somewhere in the Alps, just frankly speaking, right? You have to know that. That means you have to know what is the value per square meter in that city versus where this clinic is located. This is part of the sales process. And I think labor costs per hour, this is something that you also have to find out. You need to know that. Not what they pay the employees, but what are the costs of the employee. These are two totally different things, right? The costs are much higher than the salary, right? The examination time with the Pentacam AXLV for both eyes, I put a high number for 6 minutes. Typically it's less, but be on the conservative side to overprice or to the price. Examination time, both eyes with the Pentacam HR, an optical biometer, a waveform analyzer, and an autorefractometer. Means if you have separate devices to get the same results as you get with the wave. And then you have to consider the time it takes for the patient to go from one device to the next device, to the next device, and the next device. Often they are not located in the same room, right? That means you have the movement time and you have the organization time in the clinic, right? And remember, when you have elderly people, going to a hospital for them is a life experience, right? They are afraid, they do not know what's happening. They never got an eye exam probably, right? So they are nervous, right? And the second calculation, if you just sell 2 IOLs more per week. And the net income per premium IOL. This is something that you have to find out. You need to know what is the net income in Malaysia, in KL, or in Singapore, or somewhere in, from China or Taiwan. You have to know that. You have to be aware of that. And then you can make a calculation. So you put in all the numbers and you have to ask the doctor, how many patients do you see per day? Easy to find out. You can do this together with the doctor or with a purchaser. Oh, this. You can tell him or her, well, you save at least 3 square meters. Because you have everything in one device, so you do not need 2 or 3 others who need space. How many days per week is this clinic working? In Europe, typically 5, in Asia, typically 6. So customizing. And then the calculator shows you how much time you save per patient. 11 minutes. The 14 minus the 3. The time for patients to move in between. And I put in here a number purchasing device in US dollars. Customize it for you. What is your selling price? The safe labor cost per patient here is 18 bucks, doesn't sound too much, but if you sum it up per day or per week, this is what you save. More than $3,500 if you work 5 days per week and you have 40 patients per day. This is a lot. This is really a lot. You can hire 2 other people for that, doing another job. So return on investment is after 23 weeks or after 114 and a half working days. This is important. If you sell high price equipment, you need to tell the customer when he has his money back. Very short. And if you just sell a little bit more, 2 premium IOLs more per week, it is even after less than 4 months. Remember the story from Gerd Auffahrt? He thinks 9 months. He had it back after 3 months, right? Makes this investment. This calculation drove the decision from him, from Professor Auffahrt, to invest in the equipment. Don't forget this. And this is different, or makes you different from any other salesperson who are selling competitive equipment. You have to have that prepared. Okay, a sidekick to business. I think aberrometry in the Pentacam is also explained nicely in the e-learnings, but I want to highlight it again because when we talk about competitors, it's important to have this in mind. We all know the bigger the pupil, the more data you get. This is obvious, this is clear. That, as a consequence, means before you do the aberrometry measurement, the device should not apply any light to the eye. Very easy, right? Because then the pupil shrinks. How does the OPD scan measure that? First placebo, light flash, pupil shrinks immediately, and then aberrometry. The doctors know this, and the optometrist doesn't even know better. Use this as a sales argument. This is a technical thing, a pure technical thing, nothing more. But you can turn it in a sales argument, right? Then there is no need to discuss, oh, the OPD scan is so nice and I get it for a cheaper price and blah, blah, blah. Yeah? Look to the roots of the problem. And the root of the problem is the measurement cost is shit. Easy like that. It is rubbish. Yeah, it is like that. If you do a barometry, you need a big pupil. If you clear the pupil first, how do you want to get good data? So everything that you build up on software on top is nice but useless. Because you need to know a barometry at night conditions. At night the patients have the problem, not under day conditions. Under day conditions everything is nice. But under night conditions. And then the doctor can say, okay, I do dilate the pupil. Nobody wants to dilate the pupil. It takes time, right? Nobody wants to do this. It disturbs the clinical routine. So turn a technical benefit into a sales argument. That's important. And by the way, the iTrace has exactly the same problem. And another one on top. The iTrace from Tracy Technologies. Very nice device with a very nice software, even the latest update is very nice. The iTrace has two basic problems. The first thing is, like with the OPD scan, they measure placido first, so they clear the eye, so the pupil shrinks, and for doing the aberrometry, they need to have a far-sighted target. And the only way the iTrace can solve it is to position the iTrace so that the patient can look through the device into the infinity. And the only possibility is to have a window that the patient can look through the device out of the window into infinity. Okay? Does this make sense for you? Or the target or the next wall has to be, let's say, 5-6 meters away. Otherwise, the iTrace cannot control accommodation. And accommodation is the biggest problem for an aberrometry measurement. Because if the patients accommodate, you change the fraction. Hence, you change aberrometry, right? So, again, when you talk about another device, do not make the device bad itself. Just highlight the drawbacks. Just highlight the disadvantages. But in a way that the customer understands what the limits are. Yeah? This is important. So understand the basics of the technology. Turn it into a sales argument. And use it against competitors. Is this understandable? Good. This is a slide that Trisha prepared for training. A unique selling proposition for the PanaCam AXL Wave is that we can separate the corneal aberrometry, including the posterior surface, from the internal aberration, meaning the crystal lens on IOL. That's unique. Nobody else can do that. When you teach it, no, not when you teach it, before, when you show it to a prospective customer. And this is what we will train after lunch. You need to have your story. You need to prepare your sales and presentation story. customer is surprised. That's important. And everybody has to do that for him or herself. Teach the daily workflow. Go into the shoes of your customer. Try to think, what are the issues of my customer? How can I help him or her to make it better? That helps a lot. I described a bit of a workflow here. Cataract refractive surgery. Full sequence overview. You remember probably the slide before, the case strategy, right? Important is pupil diameter, day and night, keratometry and the corneal maps, billion and posterior fine D. The most important parameters. In borderline cases, so when the doctor has a feeling here in his stomach saying, this is not really clear what I'm seeing and what the patient was telling me before. Check the BF ratio. Check if the refraction, X-rays, keratometry, and pachymetry matches to each other. Check corneal optical densitometry display. Teach it that way. You have a fast track, but if you have doubt, check additional information. Convincing patients. A picture tells more than 1,000 words, right? The vision performance display. And we have this option that you can put spectacles before. So that you simulate the correction effect of spectacles. For young patients, typically that works perfect, right? Because they can accommodate. And the lens is clear. For me, these glasses help for distance. And for that distance. For this distance, no. Because I'm very crispy. And if you have an opacity, it's even more so. For IOL selection, spherical aberrations, non-order aberration, check the cause, check the pupil diameter day and night. Mandatory basic information for selecting an IOL. That means for you, you have to have the borderline values here in your brain. You have to have the reason why they should look to it. For example, why is a big pupil diameter and a big anterior chamber depth a risk for a premium cataract patient? Why is a big pupil diameter and a deep anterior chamber a risk for a premium cataract patient? Have you ever heard about dysphotopsia? Clear halos after premium IOL implantation? Ever heard about it? If not, attend the lectures, read the studies. It's really important. Why is it? If you have prior surgery, a deep anterior chamber, post-surgery you will have a deep anterior chamber, 100%. Because your IOL is placed more posterior. Okay? Makes sense. If you have a big pupil diameter, there is a risk that light can pass at the outer area of the IOL back through your pupil. And then the patients are seeing halos. Besides the optic of the IOL, it's a light that passes by. And this gives optical effects that the patients do not like. So you see, combine a known problem with the parameters that the device offers to you. Right? A doctor may have heard about that, but if you remind him or use it as a side argument, Ah, by the way, you know these dysphotopsia problems. The wrist is a big pupil, big anterior chamber depth, and the doctor says, oops, she says, person seems to know something. Yeah, so you grow automatically. And this is important. He has to respect you. So, a known problem and a solution. Or at least seeing the issue and remind the patient, or choose another iota. And then iota power calculation is perfectly explained in the e-learning. This is the workflow. Very easy. And with this workflow, you cover 90% of all your patients. That's what the doctor wants. This is a new full sequence overview display of a phakic eye, and maybe you remember this demo patient. You will have to work with this later on. And it's explained on an e-learning card. This looks so simple. A toggle switch. So what? Symmetry of eye is the key. When you look to a patient, you never look to one eye. If he has two, you look to two. To both. So switching between one and the other is essential. And the quicker that is possible, the easier it is, right? Toggle switch, right, left. Here, so refraction under standard conditions, under night with a pupil diameter at night, and under day light condition. And you see the refraction here is not the same. How can you use this basic information for making money? This patient has night myopia. As a consequence, he needs glasses for driving at night. Many clinics have a connected optical shop. Just go one level down. We will take care for that. The only thing that you offer the owner or the decision maker is here. Money. Making more money. With an easy side information, just put it in the right perspective. I think these values are known from the Catholic pre-op display. There is nothing that we have to explain. And you have the maps. And you have the retro illumination and the shine from image. So far, so good. Next example. This is a case that you may have not looked at often, or maybe you have. It's part of the demos. It's a post-myopic LASIK patient. Obvious, right? This is a post-LASIK profile. Easy. In this case, easy. Good. What else do we have? We have a refraction almost planar, a little bit on the myopic side. But we have an action length of 26.18. Does this fit together? No, not at all. A long eye and almost planar does not make sense. Very high spherical aberrations. This is abnormal. Why am I telling you this? Often you don't have this so obvious, right? Maybe they just get a touch-up for, let's say, 1 diopter, 10 millimeter treatment zone. You see, or you may see a little bit. But the other parameters tell you, does this make sense? Do they fit to each other? And here, obviously, they don't. A very flat cornea, a very low BF ratio, and a very thin cornea do not fit together. So now you understand the KISS strategy better, maybe. In one display, you do not have only the pure qualitative information like a map, but you have the most important parameters combined together to check if that what you see fits to each other, makes sense to each other, right? And that's very important. If you show this to a doctor, then the doctor may say, okay, in this display I almost have everything. And then you go to the corneal optical density display and you ask the question, how long can you see the flap? She's born in 1972 and she got her myopic LASIK with 28 years of age. So you see it for quite some time. But a study I'm not aware of. If you find some, please share it. But here you see how everything matches together, right? And that's what you have to teach. And you have the demos to show. Workflow for laser vision correction. The other part, or one part, of refractive surgery. Pupil diameter, absolutely essential. You want to choose the right treatment zone. Keratometry, proximity, ACD, corneal maps, Bailey posture. In borderline cases, you check additional disciplines. For laser vision correction, either you go ahead with to the laser, or you choose this chance to sell the corpus. The corpus that provides additional information for most enhanced screening to detect better possible early ectatic diseases. So again, it is a combination of different devices, and we have it all. Or if you go for phakic implant, if laser vision correction is not an option because the patient is -8 and has an irregular cornea and a high astigmatism, then you say, oh, with a laser, we can do it, but the vision performance will be never good. But we can use an ICL and it is reversible. Even better, right? What does this calculator need? All the parameters, ACD, ACB, keratometry. The refraction has to be done anyway, white to white. You type it into the online calculator and then you get your information. Everything in one display. If you teach that routine, the refractive surgeon immediately understands, okay, that's everything what I need. I do not need more. Workflow, refractive surprises after cataract surgery. And be sure, this happens more than once a year. More than you may imagine. And more than a physician will tell you. Objective refraction. Full sequence overview. Check the colored maps, check the keratometry, is there something irregular? And look to the retro image in the front image display. Go to post-op axis, check the IOL position, inclination and decentration. I think for toric IOLs with the angle, that's logical, but don't forget the misalignment of an IOL. Dump rule, a modern IOL forgives a decentration of 0.3 millimeter. A dump rule. Some more, some less. If it is decentered more than, let's say, 0.4 millimeter, and the patient has problems with his vision and has a multifocal or an EDOF IOL, this can be an explanation. Because when the patient comes and has a problem, you have to find out the reason. And the more solutions you give that doctor to determine what the reason of the problem is, the higher the chance to sell it. You go to the IOL calculator, select the Baron RX, and then you choose your surgical options. Easy, right? It is not complicated. You just have to focus to the right displays, and you have to have a story, a sales story. You have to be prepared. This is that patient, Baron RX, and you see this is the examination date after the surgery. What is the problem here? What is the problem? Patient is almost hematopathy from the SAQ. What is the problem? Well, it's a combination. This patient has half a diopter astigmatism left, but look to the axis. 157, and look to the keratometry, 82. Yes, you flip the axis. You overcorrected. Is this understandable? Now you can use this patient better for demonstration. Because if you just look to the SAQ, it doesn't give you the answer. So, in other words, refraction alone doesn't help, right? You need to do more. And a doctor knows this problem. It's not the first time. He is aware. And you show it. Okay, you go to the iris retro image, you have different options. You go to post-op axis, you determine the position and the decentration, and I have a video. You click to the measurement tool, and then you do the job. You determine the axis, and then you use the rings to align it, to check decentration. And if you think you have it done properly, you say, done. Easy. But you have to be familiar with the software to show it, right? There is no clicking, 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 and scratching here. No. It has to be right on this point. When you go to the calculator, you choose Baron RX, you type in the refraction, and which refraction do we have to type in here? Is it subjective or is it objective? Which refraction is required? Subjective refraction or objective refraction? Okay, what is an objective refraction? An autorefractometer. And what is a subjective refraction? Trial frames, right? What is needed here? Objective or subjective? Who votes for subjective? Who votes for objective? Obviously no one is sure. Think. What is the most logical approach? Objective or subjective? With trial frames or what a device does? What does make more sense? A subjective reflection, not reflection, refraction. You put frames in and you ask the patient, better, worse, better, worse. So you have to respond, right? And if you don't want to correct something, it is important what the patient says, not what the device is telling you. So you see, you can easily find a solution. If you are not 100% sure, you can think, or you go to the help text. In the help text, it is written as well. So here, subjective reflection. This is important. You put in the axis that you have measured, and then you have your option. Toric IOL, rotation. If you rotate it 21 degrees counterclockwise, this is your predicted post-op astigmatism. Done. What does this mean for you when you present that tool? It all depends to the refraction that you put in, right? If you put in the refraction of the example, you can show that just rotating the IOL fixes the problem, right? If you want to show that the rotation does not fix the problem, just put in another refraction. This is important when you present the tool, because you want to present all options. You want to present rotate IOL, piggyback, or exchange. This has to be part of your sales story. Right? So these are the small things in the presentation, but important. Benefits, I think this is clear. Visual performance display, you have here that possibility that you have the big and the night and the day pupil diameter, and you can say, well, can I correct it or can I not correct it with glasses? And you can show how the final E improves or even not. Good. In the survey that you did, some demand was regarding the IOL calculation. We have a very nice explanation on the e-learning platform about the calculator. So in my eyes, almost everything is covered there. So I wasn't 100% sure what the reason for the question is it at the end. So I decided to show you this slide again, because this highlights the differences of the formulas. Because the question from a physician will be, which formulas do you have in the calculator? Because they want to know, do you have the latest one or do you just have the basic ones, right? So here we have Barrett and Olsen. Barrett, very known here in the Asian Pacific region. And the Olsen formula is ray tracing for the very, very irregular corneas, for transplants, DMAX, D6, all that stuff. And depending on the cornea or the eye that you have, if you have a virgin cornea, if you have a treated cornea, or if you have all corneas or very abnormal corneal shape. So this slide just explains or highlights your argument. We have the formula for every purpose. No matter what the problem is, the PanaCam offers a solution. This is the meaning of that slide. Which one is the best? Well, this is this old, meanwhile old publication from Chen Fei. You see the Barrett formula has, for the most of the range, the lowest mean absolute error compared to the other ones. The problem of the Barrett formula are the very, very short eyes. This is known. But besides this, the Barrett formula is the best. Compared to the K, they are doing relatively equally good. I think this is also known. What is another benefit of the calculator? I think this one. Plug and play. Plug and play. You have everything what is needed. And this is often overlooked because with another biometer you have to get the bio properties from somewhere. Here it is included. It is all there. And the manufacturers manage the database. It is not us who manage the database. The manufacturers by itself. They have access to an online platform with an individual access code. And they maintain our database. And that's a very important thing for us. And the other things I think which are known. What else do we need to know about that topic? How can we help you? Anything else? If you don't want to ask now, you can ask later on when we are more in a private session, okay? No problem, or even during the class. E-learning card, I think, is clear. Ask for clinical examples, and this is the last part of the presentation. Premium cataract surgery. A very common thing. Female 59 years of age, early cataract, reduced vision performance, higher power calculation, was done with the right eye, 21 diopter, SN687 was, 87 was selected, post-op result was planned. So obviously an easy case. The reason why I show this example is to differentiate between the models, right? Because depending on the model you present, you may have a different story. And here you start with a fast screening report. If you have an HR or a Pentacam AXL, you start with a fast screening report, as usual. Everything looks normal here. You go to the cataract pre-op display. The map shows you what kind of astigmatism is it. With the rule, against the rule, or oblique. Very good. Here we see the interesting thing, because with oblique astigmatism you have no idea what the posterior surface does, right? And in this case, the anterior surface overestimates. The true astigmatism here is 2.8. When we look here, it looks everything normal, so you see nothing is highlighted, especially the corneal optical density, but in the yellow, everything within normal limits. Easy. Next step is you make a summary. Anterior and TCP map looks the same. Qualitative approach look exactly the same. Oblique astigmatism at the same axis. Good. The magnitude differs. Well, that was to be expected. You have very low high order aberration, so you could consider a multifocal implant. You have normal spherical aberrations, which are to be expected in their age. An aspherical IOL. Normal anterior segment parameters. That's all what you get. With an HR and an AXL. Okay. Now if you look to the wave, all the demographic information are displayed over here. You have the readings, as you know from the cataract pre-op display. Here you see the difference of the astigmatism is highlighted a little bit. Delta K is highlighted a little bit, but it is explained why. Oblique astigmatism at normal anyway. You look to the maps, both looks the same, everything there. You look to the aberrations, you look to the actual length, to the chords, and here all this information, everything is normal. And if you want to go the next step to the vision performance display, then you can use this option that we were just discussing. This is how the final E here looks if we have no correction. And look, the patient is just minus 1.28. This is not much. Okay, how can we help him if we correct with glasses? You see, the final E is still not good. So in these borderline cases, or if the patient is not 100% sure, you can show him, see, no matter what we are doing, you will not see good. So there is a need to do the surgery, right? And this can also help when the patients are, let's say, between 40 and 50. Now, they have finished their education, they have a job, and they collect some money. Now they want to get rid of glasses and contact lenses, right? Because it looks better without, and it's more convenient. Well, they go to a physician, and then it depends on, does an ICL really fix the problem? Because the ICL practically works like glasses, right? Or like corneal refractive surgery. So if you then correct it perfectly and the letter E does not look good, you know, this is not an option anymore. Either you wait or we do clear lens extraction. Right? So this is a story. This is a story in behind when you want to sell it. So now if we have the overview, you see we have now the pupil diameters on top, and we have the refraction, and additional information that we didn't have before. But pupil diameter is essential. And you see the low risk for dysphotopsia. Normal anterior chamber depth, normal pupil diameter. Bless you. Very low high order aberrations, spherical aberrations, normal anterior segment parameters. But the additional information classes are not a solution for you. We have to do something more. Additional benefit. Then you go to the calculation. And you see the plausibility warning. And this is important. Often the optometrists just click it away. Right? I don't need messages. But why is it important? You see, the right and the left eye differ a lot from actual length measurement, and hence for the calculation, and also for the astigmatism. Why is this information important? You all have heard, I guess, when the cataract surgery is performed in a two-step. first one eye and then the other eye. You often use, or the physician often use the result of the first eye for the calculation of the second eye, right? This is a typical thinking that everybody has in his mind. But if you have such an eye, or such two eyes, sorry, you can't do it because they are morphologically or anatomically different. But this is important to know prior, right? So when you have this message, do not just tell, oh, you also get a warning. I hate warnings. This is another problem. No, explain the benefit. That's the key. And here you can show it nicely. Axial length differs a lot. And also astigmatism differs a lot. And by the way, for these oblique or against the rule astigmatism, it is not rare. It is very often, right? Good. And now you have some different calculation options, and you see, in this case, that almost all match. That's your way of explaining the patient. This can be one way of explaining it, how to use it for calculation. Very easy. Post-op control. And here he uses slit lamp axis was perfect. Done. Easy going. And this is what you have to teach. Comparison to IOL master. Example from Professor Auffahrt from his clinic, trifocal toric IOL rotation. So obviously there was a problem. Prior surgery, you see the cataract nicely here. He did the normal selection. This was a J&J, 25 diopter, and he selected 3 diopter of cylinder, and the post-op refraction expected was planar. So remember, he did the way that I just explained. Full sequence overview display, IOL calculator, picks the IOL, finish. Now we go to the IOL master. This is a printout. Somebody marked with a pen, power, but you only have one part. You only have the spherical component. So you miss the toricity. Okay, what to do? Well, you go to website, to the J&J external website. Hence, somebody has to type in all the values from the IOL master on the website. And he has to make sure to make no typing error. And this is done very quick. And it takes time. But actually it is working as well, so you get a result. But guess how many time and effort it needs? Good. But here you see another IOL was selected based on the IOL master parameters. So this is the description. This was a refraction prior surgery. This was the implanted IOL, so they based it on the IOL master measurement with a higher toricity. This was the expected calculation post-op with this IOL choice. With the IOL master, with this IOL, you would end up planar. This is what the device is telling you, and the calculator. If you choose this with the Pentacam tells you have an astigmatism flip of the axis. So you do an overcorrection, right? So refraction post-op was this an overcorrection because in this example you relate on the IOL master. shit happens, what to do. Well, go to our calculator, determine the axis, and you see you also have a decentration, but the problem was here the overcorrection mainly. Now you have two options. You can go to another external website, and you type in again everything. And you have to take care that you do no typing error, right? This is a Harden calculator, works perfect. Or you go to the ballot. And it tells you rotate the IOL 30 degree clockwise, and this is the expected post-op refraction, astigmatism. Okay, what do you do first? You try. Then, okay, let's rotate the IOL. Least interventional procedure. So, post-op control. And this was a refraction. This was the final alignment of the IOL, and in accordance to Professor Hoffart, the patient accepted. So he left it as it was, even there was a bit of remaining astigmatism. Easy solution for a problem, and you see the workflow is much easier, much better. Clinical case, another one. Male, 62 years of age, left eye, early cataract, reduced vision performance, clear cornea, no packs, cataract is post-receptional, subcapsular cataract, no retina abnormalities, refraction, pre-op, 6/9/2032. IOL power calculation performed for the left eye, implant of IOL and artist use. Pentagram. Here, triple diameter. Parameters except the angle, everything okay. The map, oops. This is total. This is front. It doesn't match to each other, right? So obviously the posterior surface has an influence. Why this? What? Yeah, this was a previous software. Then we had bigger is. That is the reason. So here you see your problem. Total corneal power. This is your axis, flat and steep. Anterior surface, totally different. So you see, you have a difference in axis and you have a difference in latitude. If you trust the front, you would not use a toric one. If you look to the total, you consider a toric at least for multifocality, right? You go to the calculator and you have your solution. Done. Post-op control, checking if there's any decentration. IOL Master 700. Again, the spherical component. Crystal lens, external online calculator. Typing in all the values is from IOL Master, this is from Pentagram Wave. And in these online calculators, you have so many options, using just the anterior surface or total corneal power. Does the total corneal power comes from Pentagram, from IOL Master, or from other device? Which refractive index are you using? You have to select, am I putting in capatometry readings, curvature, or refractive power? So a lot of reasons or possibilities to make an error. So this was the result when you choose IOL Master This is the result if you use Pentacam AXL wave. So you see we have two different cylinders. So the calculation is different between the two devices. With this IOL, this is an expected positive refraction lens, and here with that IOL, positive lens. Well, again, Aufwand learned his lesson. He used the Pentacam AXL wave. And patient is happy, everything is good. I think considering these examples, it helps in the explanation. And again, before you start, please hold on, before you start, everybody, I guess, in this room ask about the competitors. You have the information on the e-learning platform, but this is more technical, right? This is the beginning. If you want to use it in practice, you have to take a benefit of it. And you have to put the benefit into perspective. So you can't say that IOL Master has no cornel maps. Okay. But why do we need cornel maps? So you see, use a limit and explain why it is needed. Tell the demand of it, right? And for that reason, I asked this question. What are the limits from the IOL Master with regard to premium cataract refractive surgery? So please, everybody take part in the poll. So after that, you can take a photo to take it home to the point. Come on, guys. Almost everybody did the poll. Okay, it's still changing. And thank you very much for this response. Because this is exactly what it is. Of course, the IOL Master has an ACD version. And you can purchase modern formulas on top. Like the Barrel Suite, for example, is available for the IOL Master. But the essential things, what you need for premium cataract surgery, this is missing. Well, the IOL Master, yeah? The IOL Master 700 has a territory calculator since it was launched.
Yeah, so I don't know why. Can you just say it's okay? That this is correct?
No. I say the IOL Master has modern formulas.
Yeah, but also the form correct IOL calculation.
Yeah, if you don't have it, you have to go to another website.
Yeah, it's pretty much the majority of countries will have that.
Maybe in Australia, in Germany not.
Majority of countries have just enforced that is.
Okay, then forget this argument for you for Australia. For Germany, I can use it because not everybody buys it. Again, this is what I see in Heidelberg. And Gerd Auffert does not purchase it because he does not believe in it. That's the point. So important is no mapping, no support to select any premium IOL, no Con alpha, and no tools to fix refractive surprises. And if you don't have the Turing calculator option, you have to use an external website. Or if you don't have the IOL in your database. If you don't have this specific IOL in your database, you have to go to an external website. No matter if you have the Turing calculator, right? Good. So you can take a photo if you want. This is a summary because it will not be part of the handout.
One of the most often challenges that we face here with Zeiss, in terms of them selling the IOL Master 700, is them bundling their items with their microscopes, with their IOL deals, with their software, with their OCT, in which they can, lower the price to significantly for the price of 1x away, for example, they can get several devices at once. What's your thought on that?
This is a challenge that we face in the business. Because Zeiss is selling not only a device, just is selling the whole refractive package. So they offer the microscopes, they offer the software, they offer the IOLs, they offer the device. If a doctor decides purely to stick with Zeiss, then you have a hard fight to justify the additional purchase of a wave or an AX. That's a matter of fact. And I think if you face this issue, do not insist on the wave, but go to Pentacam HR. Because the Pentacam HR fills the gaps, right? So if the doctor really relies on Zeiss, and often they make this bundling, that means the customer pay while purchasing their IOLs. So they make a contract, let's say, for the next 5 years. With Zeiss, you have to use our IOLs, and if you buy, I don't know how many a year, after 5 years, everything is paid. Well, that's often their strategy. And then you have to swap to another device. That's it. Because it's hard to go against this. And then it's a question, should I save my time, sell them an HR, and take the time for another deal with another customer? This is how I would decide. Good. So preparation is key. If you know that what he was just asking, you go for another device. Or at least be prepared for it. But preparation is key. Please, what do you think? What is most important before meeting a prospective buyer? What is most important? I see the responses coming quicker and quicker and quicker. You can say me or tell me, well, Jörg, this is a silly question. And it is enough if you just take this button. All of the above. You need to know all of the above. So preparation is key. Otherwise you lose time. You waste time. If you are not well prepared, don't go there. The risk for wasting your time is too high. So better do less visits with more success, right? And rather than trying to visit 10 clinics a day. Forget it. Be prepared. And you see, this is very, very comprehensive. So being a salesperson is not an easy job. We know that. So be prepared. I think it's right. You need to know everything. But I did not mention one important point over there. You need to know the refractive business in and out. The refractive business is which IOLs are available, what are the criteria, when do you do laser surgery, when do you do faking IOLs, are you using which type of IOL. This comes on top, right? So it is not only this, it is even more. Okay, let's look to your weapons. You learned your lesson. So obviously you all remember the USPs. But I have to disappoint you. This is only the first one. If you being aware of a USP and you don't know how the doctor should use it, don't mention it. It is like this. Because then the doctor asks you why. And if you do not have an answer, not that good. So when you talk about this, you need to know why he should use it. That's important, right? So play with the software. Make your argumentation list. Make your own sales manual. That's helpful. Okay. If you want, you can take a photo. If you want to memorize that, that you have it with you day and night, that you are prepared. Okay, let's look through the Antarion. The Antarion is described in the e-learning card. And I want to highlight one new thing that they have built in, which is the so-called SCORE system. The SCORE system is a software which was developed by Damien Gatinel, a French doctor, together with his colleague Dr. Saab. It was developed using OPSCAN data. This is the first important thing to know. It was developed using OPSCAN data, not using data from the Antarion. Right? So it was fudged for the Antarion. That's the first important thing. And everybody talks about you need the epithelial mapping to detect early ectatic changes. The SCORE system did not even use it. There's another argument for you. But for me, as a person who looks more from the scientific and publication point of view, this great study is cited by 4 other authors. This is poor. If it is available since 2011, and it is cited in 2024 by just 4 people, published here mid of last year. Now 1 year later, only 4 people are talking about it. So the level is not very high. And I can tell you from experience in our company, we have people in the marketing department who have worked for Heidelberg Engineering before. So they just joined the company end of last year. And they tell us very clearly, for Heidelberg, the gold standard is Berlin Symposium Enhanced Ectasia Lisping. This is not a question for the people from Heidelberg, even who are doing the marketing for the device. They know the gold standard is our software. So don't be afraid if people talk about that, right? You have the publication list in the software, in our software, and you can show, well, if only 4 people talks about it, it's not much. This is a SCORE system. So what it actually does, you have several parameters. Thin spot, you have the posterior elevation, you have an irregularity index, you have K-maps, and you have the IS ratio. And here, does this look familiar? You know in which software this is included, right? So they show you a Pachymetry progression, and then they calculate a score. Here, so this is orange. That's what it does. And if you click on it, you see the individual numbers for that specific page. That's it. That's a SCORE system. It's based on OPSCAN data. When you read to the study, you see it's heavily anterior surface based. Almost no clinical publication, no verification study, and this is an important thing. You can develop something and publish. If other people do not verify it with a different population, the question is it really useful? They show the Pachymetry progression as a graph, but they do not include it in the calculation. Why? The OPSCAN did not have Pachymetry progression. So this is purely OPSCAN based and fudged with the OPSCAN information to a model device. This is not very good. And they did not include epithelial mapping. Another topic is keratoconus grading and progression, or in general assessment. The Anterion from Heidelberg has nothing which applies to the modern standards that are defined by the global panel, right? So, frankly speaking, the Anterion is useless for keratoconus management. It doesn't have a staging, it doesn't have a progression, nothing. And I think this is an important point if you fight against competition. Go to the clinical application and really ask how useful is it for you? Does it really apply to the standards? Do you really get important information? And here the answer is no. So not just learning a table chart by heart, but really put it in the perspective for the customer. So you see, the better you understand the topic and the field you're working, the easier it is to look to competitors and to highlight the limits of these devices. And with this perspective, you can look to every new device coming to the market. What does a surgeon need? What does a device offer? Right? So you can do this for yourself, do it in the team. Make the manual. iStar 900 from Parkstride. A cool device. What are the limits? Copy paste from the Anterion, right? More or less. Yeah, but this is important. Oh, there's another company with a new device and everybody talks about it and it is new and modern and great and blah blah blah. Don't be afraid. Don't get nervous. Look in detail to the device. Put it in perspective to your devices. And then go out and sell ours. They do not have anything for them. So why do you want to be afraid? Remember, they have made copy-paste from Pentacam data to implement the ABCD staging. But they miss the progression. So it falls out for keratoconus management. That was the active part of the presentation. Lunch is at 1 o'clock. Perfect. Do you have any additional questions at this moment that you want to ask in front of the audience? Then we try to answer them.
Thanks, Nikoma. And I think Anterion and Amstar, they use sweep source OCT, and we have our PCI. How we figure things?
That's a good question. How do you deal with that? I think everybody has this problem, right? You just have the power to ask the questions. How do we work with that?
So last week I was in Cambodia. So Cambodia, as many of the Asian countries around here, have a lot of hard cataracts, and this exact question was discussed at dinner I had with one of the premium doctors there. He said, "We have a problem. It's not sweat source. You can't penetrate." So I asked him, "Of your premium patient, how many of your patients are premium patients?" Right? And then of that amount, how many are you not able to penetrate? So he said about 20% of my patients are premium patients. So that means out of 100 patients, 20 of his patients are premium. Then he said out of those, 20% I'm not able to penetrate. So that means 4, right? 4 patients that want premium were not able to penetrate. 4 out of 100. So on non-premium patients, when you're just doing a basic monofocal, most likely from a lens from India or something like this, right? A low-cost lens. Even if you're off half a diopter, off 0.7, 0.5, off 1 diopter, and they had a hard cataract, and now they're going to a monofocal, they can still see so much better, and they still think you're a genius and you're a great surgeon and you're amazing, even they're off by a diopter. And most likely they're a government patient anyway, and they get what they get and they're happy, they go into classes, they're fine. So the key is what patients are, we want to make sure that we don't have that problem afterwards, out of classes, the premium patients. So then, if only 4 patients were not able to penetrate, we're having to use a B scan, or any scan component, right? So 4 out of 100 patients, I might have to use a B scan to make sure that I get a high quality, or maybe that's a discussion that I have with those 4 patients. Maybe premium's not the best option for you. Maybe, the results aren't going to be that great. I might be off a little bit. I'm warning you now. You might still need glasses. Let's go with an EDOF instead of a diffractive multifocal or something like this. But when you broke down those numbers, 4 out of 100, I'm not able to really give that best premium quality that I want to give. Yeah, how about that?
Thank you, Richard.
That's the conversation I had.
Yeah. So, there is not a general answer. This is one topic. This is one specific group of patients and one specific topic. As a general rule, you can say even with the most modern SWAP source OCT, you cannot image 100% of your patients. You still need ultrasound. So when you read to the studies, looking to the success rate of the patients, even with an IOL master or the MOVU from Arcus, you come to 90-92% depending to the population. In Germany, maybe 98, but in Cambodia, let's say 88. So it depends to the population, but you always need to have an ultrasound biometer. That's a matter of fact. So the SWAP source, yes, is better than PCI. But this is only one part of the argumentation. The other part is, what else is a Pentacam offering to you? So this is really a discussion that you can have with the doctor. Okay, with our device you cannot measure, let's say 96, but let's say 88%. And for the other ones, whatever the percentage rate is, you need ultrasound. You do an investment with a wave, the AX term between 60 and 80,000, and you do an investment with the IOL Master for purely standard cataract surgery for, let's say, 50, 60, 70, whatever the price in that country. So the gap between the two devices, price-wise, is small compared to the total amount of the investment. And now let's see if you just pay a little more and take the disadvantage that you have to do ultrasound for some patients. Look to the additional benefits you get with the Pentacam. Right? So I think this is another way of argumentation. That you do not or look only to that what you do not have, but focus on that what you have and what you can do better than others. Maybe this helps for these problems. So there is not a device in the world which is 100% good for everything. Okay?
I was just going to add to that too, that because most clinics are going to carry an ultrasonic campometer, you can still input that data into your Pentacam. So you're still getting the axial length measurement in the day. So you're not even really losing out on those patients you can't scan. Because yeah, you use your Pentacam and then you've got a whole lot more data on still you can enter the system.
Yes, thank you very much. So you see there's always a way around. So you have pros and of course some cons. This is life, how life is.
Last year we talked briefly at the training about the Indonesian doctor as well, the KOL share in Indonesia. He was asked to present 4 Zeiss at one of their own symposiums on the IOL Master. He got up there and said, yes, happy to do it. Pretty operatively, what do I do? Pentacam, 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 Pentacam. Okay, then I take my IOL measurement, my axial length measurement. And then post-operatively, what do I do? Pentacam, 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 Pentacam. He goes, oh, by the way, the Pentacam also has a binometer on it. That was what he actually said in the Zeiss symposium.
So you see, highlight the benefits. Not go, I don't have this option, what am I doing? No, be brave. You have so much more to offer. Right? Good. Trisha just reminded me there came a question in regarding Windows 11 compatibility. The latest software, 1.29 R12, is Windows 11 compatible. So if there are any issues regarding Windows 11, install the latest software. Then you should get rid about these problems. Okay, I'm happy that we have time to...
There's a question about the horizontal white to white and limpus marking. Why is there difficulties? And it's probably also software, I don't know.
The new software. The new software doesn't show the way
Yeah. The 1.29 R12 with the new displays in the iris image overview, you cannot activate the marks for white to white. This will be fixed with the next update. So for questions that come up, we will fix that issue. More and more questions.
I'm just reading as it is. Why is running of the IOL calculator of a demo patient only one time and I have to reinstall the entire program and wipe out the existing patient data?
Me either. When you do an IOL power calculation as a demo with Pentacam, when you want to leave the IOL calculator going to another display, the software asks you, do you want to store the data or do you want to keep it as it is? If you just keep it as it is, do not store the data, then nothing is overwritten. So typically it works without issues. Later on we have a private session, come to us, we explain it. where this question arises. Okay, I want to use the remaining time before lunch that we explain the tasks for the afternoon, that we prepare the groups. Can we prepare the groups? And Trisha organized this whole chaos that I produced for her. Because they say, oh, we have a big room, we make 2 teams, several groups, several tasks, and we need several colors, blah, blah, blah. And Trisha told me, I will manage. So, a big applause to Trisha, because she organized this as usual perfectly well. Trisha, amazing job. Thank you. And when I look to us as trainers, when you prepare a training like this one, where you know you have 40 plus people in a room, and you know you have 3 days of training time, you know up front that this is a tough job, right? And without the help from Trisha and the e-learning platform, it will be impossible for us to provide that training for you. So, luckily we have her, that she is organizing all that. Should I help you with keeping that? Resume?
You are at the same company. Yeah. Then you are not in the same. You are in a different company, right?
I've got it ready for one for him.
See, I make her crazy, then I also.
We'll find out soon.
Book number 1. You don't have one? You have. You sure you are good in the back? Risha, should I show a special slide from the previous presentation?
Yeah.
Okay, so all of you got blue. Come to this room after the lunch break again. And everybody that's got green, we've got another room, Susan, it's over there, you know? The breakout room is where we go. So if you go here outside, carry on, you will find another room. So after, yes. Green is in the other room, blue comes to this room. And then also on the groups you did not get anything. On the groups you will find a number 1, 2 to 4. So if you're at number 1, you're group number 1. If you're 2, you're group number 2, 3, and 4. Okay. Blue number 1. Sorry, I don't have a tag. Blue number 1.
Blue one? Blue two.
Do you need?
Okay. Good. Can you go to the next slide, please? And the next slide. And the next slide. Good. So here we try to explain the challenge. We had 40 people registered, now we have more. Which is okay. If you can handle 40, you can handle 45. We will split you into 2 teams, 20 plus people per team, and the companies are mixed. You got the colored cards, and the 2 teams will work in 2 separate rooms, and each team is split up again in 4 groups. And the 4 groups in the 2 rooms will get 1 task each. So group 1 in one room and in the other room will get the same task. The task has to be understood. 2 trainers are available to ask. Preparation time per case is 15 minutes. Go to the next slide, please. The important point is when you present it to the trainers, and the trainers will act like potential customers. So they might ask you some questions. Be prepared. You work as a team. You work as a group. So not only 2 people are working, but the whole group is working, right? And you help each other. The maximum presentation time is 10 minutes because you do not have more in reality. You have less, right? So be prepared, be short, be tough. Halt. One more back, please. Okay. And you will get a 5-minute feedback. And I think this is important. So the feedback does not mean that you pull somebody against the wall, right? This is never fair. So we can share our experience and maybe the presenters team can learn. So this is the way we want them, right? Being friendly all together. Task 1. This is a demo patient. Here we focus clearly to one application, which is keratoconus. You should introduce and sell the Pentacam to a doctor who sees keratoconic patients and or treats them. You should consider the competitors. You should consider the patient's group. And if you like, you can use the demo patient on top, which is displayed here, just if you want, right? But we focus on the one on top. Remember, you have just 10 minutes. In 10 minutes, everything should have been said. Everything that is needed. Consider that what we talked today. Okay, can you go to the
So
next?
everybody's got a 1 on, that's obviously, that will be your task. If you had a number 1 on your card, you will be in the group, in the respective groups. So maybe take a photo of your task, just in case you want to just...
So everybody who has a 1, please take a photo. This is your task. That you remember. Okay? Task 2, we go to a different topic. Maybe you remember this patient. We talked about this during the session. Here we focus on another device. Maybe you have recognized with the Pentacam for keratoconus I talked about a pentacam. Here I talk about the Pentacam AXL Wave. So the focus is clear, right? It's another group of people, so we can offer another device. And again, consider competitors, consider the patient's group and the return on investment. You should sell the device, right? This is important at the end of the day. So please, everybody who has a tool on his little sticker, take a photo that you are aware. Okay. Task 3. Here we talk about the patient faking and pseudo-faking eye. And since we split this demo patient in tasks 3 and 4, the group who has task 3 focus on pre-op only, right? This is a demo patient where you can explain the pre and the post, right? So please focus only on the pre-op. And task 4, same patient, focus to the post-op part. And since the post-op part is not that big, right, because it is quickly explained, I recommend that you show also other displays in the Pentacam that can be used for post-op assessment, right? So make your mind about that.
Okay, so earlier last week I asked you guys if you have time to please have a look at the learning cards of the demo patients. For those of you who did it, this is going to really be beneficial in the next session. I just want to give you a quick overview again about how it works on the platform. So in the Oculus Academy, we've got different categories. The trainings category is dedicated to live trainings, and this is where you all have booked your spot for this training. And going forward, when we have trainings for different surgical, service or diagnostic, live trainings will always be booked via the platform. This is to basically create an all-in-one inclusive platform that looks at everything you do education, whether it's live training, whether it's e-learning certification courses, whether you watch a video, we want to keep everything under one umbrella. The e-learnings, this is the certification courses we spoke about earlier this morning. This is usually what we require for people to attend the live training, is the completion of these e-learnings. But the bulk of the knowledge, and your go-to whenever you have a question, is the knowledge database. Here you can find different topics covered by videos, learning cards, etc. For today's session, we will be focusing on the category demo cases. And the demo cases going forward, we would like to develop or create more and more learning cards for you that helps you how to use a specific demo case to explain an application, not only for Pentacam, but we will going forward also start looking at the Corvus and Carrot Graph, so we will be building it. When is this helpful for you? Obviously, when you go to customer visits, you want to be able to explain the applications, but in this task today, specifically, we want to create that conference or booth visit. You've got a 5 to 10 minutes to explain a specific application to the doctor. So we've created this really to help you to create a story. Because at the end of the day, if you tell your story convincingly about the applications, the doctors will buy into it. And you can definitely show the unique applications. So for today, we go to the next one. We have the 4 different tasks. So all of the tasks except task number 2. So if you're number 2, unfortunately we don't have a learning card of this demo patient on there. But if you follow the steps that you described earlier, I'm sure you will be able to explain this task. So the different demo patients we've got, the high keratoconus patient is a patient, a demo patient that helps you to showcase the accuracy with highly abnormal corneas when you're working with the Pentacam. We've got the keratoconus cross-linking progression patient. This is specifically helpful to showcase the Bellin ABCD progression display, how you detect, obviously that's with the BAD, how you then monitor with the Bellin ABCD, or first stage with the Bellin ABCD, and how you then monitor progression with the ABCD progression. And then obviously, of course, you need to showcase also what you do with cross-linking treatment and how the device is actually beneficial or helping you in after cross-linking. Early presbyopic, post-myopic LASIK, as I say, no learning card yet, but this demo patient illustrates the new features of the Pentacam AXL wave for different applications. So a hint, look at the name of this demo case. Early presbyopic, post-myopic LASIK patient. You need to illustrate by the software what has happened to the patient and also find the root, because the patient is coming to the clinic. Root of the problem, the patient is complaining of reduced visual acuity. So you need to use the software to illustrate the steps, how you will find the problem or the cause of the problem and the benefits of the Pentacam. Lastly is the phakic stereophakic eye. Here we've divided in two tasks. Task number 3, as Jörg said, is purely pre-op. So look at the things, the full sequence overview display. What are the steps you're looking at the screening process? What are the steps you're looking in premium IOL decision making? And then also what is the benefits of the IOL calculator to use it to calculate the IOL options for the patient. And then task number 4 is the same patient, but in this case you want to illustrate the benefits of the Barrett RX. So how can the Pentacam help you with post-op surprises? Okay.
Next one.
Yeah. So basically the principle or the idea behind the learning cards that we want to create will help you to tell your story. So usually we focus on the key message of the demo patient. We then illustrate also the key displays that will help you, and then what are you supposed to explain with this demo patient. So over the next few slides, again, depending on your group, maybe take a photo, because this can help you a little bit with your task when you explain it. So first of all is the high keratoconus patient. This is not the main demo patient. Jörg said you can use it if you would like. So you can see the key message of this demo patient, which displays are beneficial, and also the key explanations. Very importantly, the info is on the learning card in the academy. The main focus or the main demo patient for task 1 is the cross-linking progression. And again, the key message of this demo patient, the key displays. Here I don't mention a specific display, I mention steps. You want to screen first. When a patient comes in, they all go through a screening routine. You want to detect a problem, detect an abnormality, like the keratoconus. Then you want to grade it. You want to explain how to monitor. If you detect abnormal progression, you want to explain then why the patient should be treated, and then also the benefits of the Pentacam after treatment with the cross-linking confidence intervals. This one is the only the demo that we don't have a learning card. So in this group, if you group number 2, it means a little bit more work for you. This is a post-LASIK patient coming to a clinic complaining about reduced visual acuity. The Pentacam can be used to detect the problem and plan a solution for the patient. So again, go back to the steps that Jörg explained earlier, how you should go through it, see what is the problem, why is the patient experiencing reduced visual acuity. Next one. Okay, we have this in 2 tasks. Again, pre-op, you want to go through the steps, how you screen, how it helps you with premium IOL decision making, and then also IOL calculation. And then the last one is task number 4, and this is where you want to illustrate the process or the different steps of how you can use Barrett RX formula to provide solutions in the event of post-op surprises. But during the sessions, you will have Oculus team members in the room with you. Please ask the questions, and please feel free if you have any queries, to just ask and then present it to the trainers. Lastly, it's just a quick slide to show you the demo patients. Of course, we want to always tell you why a demo patient is important. Who do you use this demo patient to explain the different benefits or applications? But the most important slide in the learning card is the how. And if you have a problem with the explanation, go to this slide in the learning cards and we explain it to you step by step how to use the different displays and explain the applications.
Thank you, Trisha. So you might be interested, who are your trainers or potential customers? So in this room, it will be Joe. You all know Joe here in Asia. He is a guy that you ask every day, every week, 100 and tons of questions, and he always has an answer for you. So he's the best guy here in the area to support you. And taking this opportunity, I think we can give Joe a big applause for all the support that he has every day. So Joe here from Germany can just say we are very happy that we have you here. Thank you so much. So Joe and myself will be here, and Trisha and Christian, the guy here in the back, my boss, he will go with you together with Trisha to the other room, and they will be your trainers, instructors, potential ones. Any questions at this point? Of course you need a laptop. Of course you need to have the demo patients. You need to prepare your story. And just do your best. We are here for learning, right? This is why everybody is here. So don't be afraid and please ask questions. We want that you leave that place with more answers than questions, right? Is there anything to say regarding lunch, where and how to go? I think, Susan, come on. You can explain it that everybody knows where to go and when to be back.
Nothing much to say. There's someone waiting for you outside in front of the door, and we'll just guide you to the restaurant. And enjoy your lunch. I'll see you later.
And by the way, Susan organized all this. Okay, at 2 o'clock at the latest, everybody has to be back. Has to be back. Otherwise, we cannot finish the schedule for today. Or we skip the welcome dinner, so you can choose. No, Chucky. Please be back by 2 o'clock. I think we can go over now to lunch, so you will be back, please, 10 minutes before 2 o'clock. Enjoy lunch. See you later, guys. Thank you.